My name is Richard Mayungbe. We'll be looking at economic disruption and global impact of COVID-19 on our society. And by extension, we'll be looking at the potential of COVID-19 for Nigeria's economic greatness. What is this COVID-19 and how has it created the potential to impact Nigeria's economic greatness? Firstly, COVID-19 is seen as a demon ravaging the entire world, visiting nations with death and sickness, crumbling economics through forced lockdown and isolation. Available records indicate that the virus was first discovered sometimes in 2019, and it emanated from Wuhan in China. Earlier theories suggest that it came from animals. Then let's look at the countries that this virus has actually ravaged. We will pick only 10 countries. Beginning from the US, statistics reveal that as at May 29, as at May 29, we are talking of 905,000 cases in the US, only about 99 recovered, and about 51,949 victims did not survive it. In Spain as well, we have about 219,000. 92 survived it, 22 died. Italy, 192,000, 60,000 recovered, while 25,000 died. The statistics are there. Italy, France, Germany, United Kingdom, Turkey, Iran, China, and Russia. With this gory picture, it is a confirmation that COVID-19 is real, and it is not a joke. It's real. Even all the countries that we have mentioned, they have advanced health facilities. And if these health facilities are overstretched, they were overstretched, so to say, then let's look at Nigerian population and the distribution of Nigerian population. Nigeria is a country of about 200 million and a little fraction on top of it. I'm going to show you a graph of the population distribution, both male and female. We have the highest age band of Nigerians between the age of 30 and 60 years, followed by 30 years and below. In other words, the highest number of Nigerians live between the age of 30 and 60. And the following range is between 30 and below, both male and female. In spite of this negative tendency that COVID-19 has created, some potential for the economic greatness of Nigeria still exists. When we look at the population distribution, we see that the age range fall below that age range of between 60 and below. They form the most they form below the economic vibrant age in the world. Then when we look at the casualties, we see that most casualties around the world, they are not from Africa and not from Nigeria in particular. Then average age of most victims range from 60 and above. Average age range of most victims of this COVID-19 range from 60 and above. In other words, the virus or the pandemic had left our age range to attack people who are, let's say, less productive. As of July 22, 2020, confirmed cases in Nigeria were 37,801, with 805 deaths out of a population of about 200 million people. Let's look at the victims' location in Nigeria. Nigeria's useful and productive population are not affected by COVID-19. Available records reveal that most victims in Nigeria are city dwellers within the top comfort class. When we say top comfort class, these are people who live in opulence. From air-conditioned car to air-conditioned house to air-conditioned office, back to air-conditioned car, back to air-conditioned home. You know, they live within the danger of COVID-19. What COVID-19 does not tolerate is where they have found themselves, the kind of comfort they enjoy. Most rural dwellers with high propensity for agricultural production and other economic activities are unaffected. They are unaffected in Nigeria. This is a plus for the economy of Nigeria. Going by the government fiscal stimulus and the stimulus packages that the government is giving out. What are the efforts to stem the spread in Nigeria? Efforts of the federal government to stem the spread. The federal government quickly created the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to institute measures to protect the health of Nigerians. Federal government imposed a lockdown on the Federal Capital Territory, Lagos and Ogun states, effective from the 30th of March 2020 for an initial period of time to slow the spread of the disease in Nigeria. Introduction of face mask and improved personal hygiene and regular hand washing too were introduced. How can this COVID-19 now spur economic greatness of Nigeria? Let's look at it. As oil price plummets by the day, government is deliberately diversifying the economy and going out to break new grounds, giving out necessary incentives. Even at the international stage, we see that the stimulus package initiated by the United States runs into about $2 trillion. European Union too is proposing about $841 billion during their meeting of June 19, 2020. Here is money from the US, from Europe, to buy from whoever has what COVID-19 has prevented Europe and America from producing locally. What Europe and America could not produce locally, they have now put down money. Any nation that can produce it for them, it has a market. Now, the potential of COVID-19 for Nigeria's economic greatness. Let's look at the potential for agricultural production. The potential for agricultural production. 3 factors are in favor of Nigeria for high agri-production when other nations are locked down. 1 is the unaffected rural population. Our rural population are not affected. 2, high percentage of useful and productive population who predominantly live in rural areas. And 3, responsive government stimulus. Responsive government stimulus package. Potential for medicine, of course. Potential for medicine. COVID-19 is more of a war on human race, and efforts are being harnessed to document and put to trial what we call wartime discoveries. Ancient herbal records and herbal formulas are surfacing on social media, and people are taught how to combine them to boost immune system. Orthodox medical practices are also not relenting with various laboratory experiments. In the same vein, the human body system is developing its inbuilt resistance to fight the virus. When malaria came, it was killing like a pandemic. Gradually, the Africans who live in mosquito-infested African forest, they have resistance, and they know the herbs to combine to fight the malaria scourge. Let's look at some past pandemics. Because coronavirus, what we call COVID-19, is not the first pandemic plaguing the world. Number 1, we look at the third plague pandemic, which happened in 1855 to 1960. The disease was simply named as bubonic plague, and the death toll was about 12 million people, and 12 million plus. Before it could stop in 1960, some medical formulas were used. Where are these medical formulas? The records are there for us to fall back onto. Number 2 is the influenza pandemic, what we call Spanish flu. It happened in 1918 to 1920. It was a worldwide pandemic. It was characterized by influenza, a virus subtype H1N1, as the medical people coded it then. It killed between 17 to 100 million people. Yet, there were medical formula used to curtail it. Number 3, we have influenza pandemic called Asian flu. It happened between 1957 and 1958. It was a worldwide pandemic. It was characterized by influenza, a virus that was named H2N2. It killed about 1 to 4 million people. Then the Hong Kong flu, 1960 to 1970. It was worldwide as well. It was coded as influenza virus subtype H3N2. It killed between 1 and 4 million people. Then number 5 was the HIV/AIDS pandemic, 1981 to 2018. It was worldwide in nature, and it manifested through HIV/AIDS. It killed about 43 million people. It killed about 43.8 million people. Now let's look at the potential for social science and humanities. How will COVID-19 create impact for social sciences and humanities? Firstly, let's define. Social science is defined as the scientific study of human society and social relationship, while humanities involve the study of human society and culture. Since COVID-19 is a direct attack on human beings, let us talk about how it impacts the above two disciplines. COVID-19 has the potential to build genuine relationships because we are now staying connected to families and loved ones through lockdown and stay at home. You just have to stay at home and be good family man. The entire lifestyle has changed. Entire lifestyle changes. Personal hygiene is no longer just a good habit, but the very skill you need for survival. Shaking hands has changed to something else. You don't have to shake hands now. You develop another way of greeting your fellow beings. We are to cover our mouth when we cough. It is now a way of life. And to sanitize our hand after touching anything. The fear has become real, and it is now part of our everyday lives. Social distancing is now a way of life. Social distancing is a way of life. Then the issue of innovation and technology. We are getting used to the functionalities of our various electronic devices, which were hitherto unknown to us. Most of us were just carrying our electronic devices only to make calls or receive calls. Now, various functionalities embedded in the devices are being shown to us on how to use them. Staying connected through videos and conference calls is now the way of life. We are finding creative ways to beat down boredom. You don't want to be bored. We are now creating ways to beat boredom. We are also developing ideas to remain in business, to attract and sustain our customers, suppliers, and employees. Then let's look at the potential for business admin, the potentials for business administration. COVID-19 has turned out to be a catalyst. It has turned out to be a catalyst for digital transformation. Widespread disruption of global economic and individual activity has forced many companies to speed up their pace of digital transformation. Nigerian small and medium-scale enterprises now and individuals are joining the league of digital economy players. You are forced or you are voluntarily pushed into it. Survival is the first law of human existence. We are learning and adjusting very fast. We are learning and adjusting very fast. Remote working is now a reality. Larger office spaces are going to decline, and companies are actually going to carry out most transactions and engagements online. Geographical location will no longer stand as a barrier while hiring competent staff. Quarantines have made most businesses go 100% remote. Companies now have to trust the integrity of their employees, that they will loyally work even when there is no one to look over their shoulder every now and then. Let's look at education. In the area of education, education is becoming digitized and cheaper. The fallout of the pandemic is that schools, universities, and colleges have been shut down. Online classes have become the new norm for educational institutions. Institutions now save on the infrastructure cost, and as a result, education has now become more affordable. As the online education system grows, we can expect an increase in the reach and accessibility of education within every section of the society. Behold, a cleaner world before us. The lockdowns have seen global greenhouse gas emissions drop significantly. Other measures to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus over the last few months, local businesses have been shut, factories closed, social movement restricted, and transportation brought to a halt. Burning of fossil fuels reduces. Carbon footprint has lessened, and air quality has improved significantly. Due to global lockdowns, canals and oceans across major cities in the world are now without the usual and constant pollution from human activities. By and large, the demon in COVID virus, as dangerous as it is, has forced some positive development in the Nigerian economic space, which economic players, need to capitalize on. Thank you very much.